Yoga Goddess Academy. How are you? My name is Crystal Gray. I am the creator of this page, the Yoga Goddess Academy, as well as the online yoga teacher training and the online yoga and meditation membership. So I'm really excited. Over the next couple of weeks, I will be interviewing some amazing ladies that I've been able to connect with through the yoga world, and really a lot through this company called Yoga Club. This is how I met a lot of these lovely ladies, and I'm starting to collaborate with them on some upcoming projects that we have. And I'm going to be interviewing them around the subject of yoga teacher training. And today I'm going to be interviewing Chris Blunt, and she is the founder of Vegas Gone Yoga, a yoga festival in Las Vegas. And she teaches prenatal yoga, and she's just an all-around awesome yogi. She's also a yoga club tribe leader with me. Again, that's how we met. And I'll be bringing her on to ask her, how do you know if you are ready for a yoga teacher training? All right, so let's see if we can bring her on, and she can tell you a little bit more about herself, as well as answer these questions for us. Hey, Melly, how are you? I see Melly watching too. Hi, Chris, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you so much for joining me live. I really appreciate it, and sharing your knowledge and just who you are with our community, the Yoga Goddess Academy.
Of course. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So you are in Las Vegas, is that correct?
I am.
And
I've been here now since fall of 2011, so about 6-7 years.
Okay,
so.
and where'd you live before that?
I came from New York, so I'm a former dancer, danced on Broadway.
Oh, okay, wow, awesome. That's so exciting. And so, yeah, you can just give us a little history about yourself and how you got into yoga and what you're doing with it now.
I feel like being a dancer, yoga was a pretty natural progression. Just with being a dancer and a concert trained dancer, you experience a lot of knee problems, back problems. So I sort of got into yoga just to balance my body out. And then I was also dancing on Broadway with The Lion King. And it's a show where you're doing repetitive movement over and over again, day after day, and sometimes on the weekends, matinees as well as evenings. So again, just getting into yoga to sort of balance my body out and to prevent injury. And that sort of segued me in. And then as soon as I stepped on the mat, I fell in love with it. And then I started to teach like a little company warm up to like all of the cast of The Lion King on Broadway. So you'd see like lionesses in there, like doing sun salutations. It was hilarious.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's kind of how I got started. Really just to balance out the wear and the tear that dance can have on the body.
Yeah, definitely. And so what are you doing with it now? What do you do out there in Vegas?
Well, once my husband and I relocated to Vegas, we had been married at that point for a couple of years, decided to have a child, and we just felt like to stay in New York, cost of living is extremely high, and we wanted, quality living. So we moved out to Vegas, and interestingly enough, even though I thought we were coming out here to still continue to perform, my yoga career really took off. I went to audition at a couple of yoga studios here and went from having one class to like 8 classes in about 2 months. And I was at that point anyways where I was like, oh, I feel like I'm kind of ready to hang up the point shoes. So that's sort of how I became a full-time yoga teacher out here. And I teach few different sort of genres of yoga. I teach Vinyasa Flow. That's what I was certified in. I've received continuing education in prenatal yoga, as well as yin yoga and restorative yoga.
Awesome. And so the specialties that you're going to be bringing to the teacher training we're doing is the prenatal, as well as some of that Vin Yin style as well for the membership, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Awesome. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I mean, I love prenatal. I feel like a lot of teachers, when they see a pregnant woman walk into the class, they get like, you just see their eyes get really wide, like, I don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
So just letting people know that, pregnant mamas can practice too. There's a few things we stay away from, but we can offer them something else in lieu, and just so that teachers feel comfortable teaching to that demographic of yogis.
Yeah, and not all the time. I mean, a lot of times I think pregnant women, they do have special classes like prenatal yoga, but you never know. If they're a brand new student, they might just show up. And also, if you live in a smaller town or a place where they don't have separated prenatal classes, again, you might just have these people show up, and you really do want to be prepared so that you're not like, oh my gosh, and just totally freeze and not have anything to teach them.
Yes, you want something in your toolkit.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so today you're going to share with us the top ways to know if you're ready to do a yoga teacher training. So I would love to hear your perspective on this.
Okay, so top 3 reasons you know you're ready. Reason number 1, I would say, if your yoga practice feels like home. So for instance, or for example, rather, most of us move about our day sort of taking care of the responsibilities of life. There's a lot of stress that can come with that. And when you step onto your yoga mat, does it feel like a welcome retreat? Does it feel like your shoulders relax out of your ears? You take a deep breath and you're like, I'm home. So if you have that feeling repeatedly when you step onto your yoga mat, I
That
feel
gave
like
me chills. I'm sorry, it gave me chills. That's a good point. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So if you feel that way, if you have that love for the yoga practice, if it makes you feel good, you owe it to yourself to go about like understanding it a little deeper or deeply. So I definitely say like number 1 reason, if your yoga practice feels like home, you owe it to yourself to learn more about it. Just like with any passion or hobby, it's an investment, but it's an investment that makes you feel good.
Definitely. And that kind of just shows that you can do a yoga teacher training for you. And a lot of people start out that way. They're like, oh, I don't want to teach. You know, one of my teachers that is really close with me and works with me is Tammy. I trained her and she never wanted to teach, but she just did that to deepen her own practice and decided that she did want to.
Yeah. And first and foremost, I feel like most of us are doing it because we want a deeper understanding of yoga. Like we're not able to get the philosophy behind it or maybe the meaning behind the poses in that hour and a half class. So that's why it's really lovely to, at that point, start to investigate teacher trainings.
For sure. That's a great point.
Yeah.
All right. What about your next one?
So I feel like mine kind of they start with self and they progressively go out.
Yeah.
So my next one is, if you have that sort of desire, that hunger, that love to learn, again, just taking that desire and funneling it. So if you feel like, number 1, your yoga practice makes you feel good and it feels like home, you owe it to yourself to, again, do that deeper work, understand it a little bit better. And within that, like, I feel like that comes to reason number 2. Now, like, you have that desire. So you've sort of connected to that desire as to like, oh, I want to learn about this. And so many of us, I feel like people in general, but, you know, definitely people who are stepping onto the mat, there is that like learning about not just your body, but your breath, your mind. I always often say it in my yin classes. Yes, we're using these shapes to sort of investigate where we're supple and weak in the body, but we're also using these shapes to investigate where we're sort of supple and rigid in our mind and, you know, to release holding patterns in our body as well as our mind. So with that being said, I really feel like number 2 is, if you have that desire to learn, which so many of us do, then this is a great time to like, again, like research yoga teacher trainings and see which one is a fit for you.
For sure. And there's so much learning that comes from a yoga teacher training. You know, it's not all rainbows and sparkles the whole time through yoga teacher training, but it's such an amazing experience, and it really has the capacity to change your life for sure.
Yeah, because I feel like it's just a really great way to investigate self. I mean, we sort of move throughout the world and we often take care of everybody, especially for us as women. We're taking care of our partners, we're taking care of our children, we're taking care of work. As yoga teachers, we're also taking care of other people. But like, to have a special place where you can really do that sort of work for yourself, I feel like yoga is so instrumental, and it's so great. It's such a wonderful thing to have in your toolkit.
Definitely. All right. And what about your last one?
So my last one kind of like now permeates out into the world. You've stepped onto your mat, you feel like it's home. Now with that recognition, you take the steps to understand it a little deeper. And through that sort of that desire of learning more about yourself and all of the many facets that make up self. And now that you have this passion, as someone once told me, it's your duty, your dharma, to share it with the world. So now you take all that information that you've learned about your yoga practice, that you've learned about yourself, and you share it with others so that you can turn around and help the next person who's on the journey. You can give them that sort of information so that they can make great choices. So I feel like mine kind of moves organically, starting with self, learning about yourself, and then taking that information and sharing it with the world.
Definitely. Now, what would you tell people that say, you know, I'm not good enough yet at yoga to be a yoga teacher?
Well, I say number one, that sort of confidence comes with time. But I think we all come out of yoga teacher trainings like that. I mean, I definitely remember like in my first teacher training, like when you had to do like the group teach and like, you put your right foot forward. And I think my lip was quivering. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's a part of the journey. That's a part of finding your voice. That's a part of the strength. We all start off shaky. And I feel like that's with anything that you try that's a new endeavor. I feel like we want to be the best at it, but it's like, no. And that's the beauty of yoga. It teaches you to really be about the journey and to fall in love with each stage of development. So maybe you don't think you're ready. And we've all been there, but there will come a point in a time where you will discover that you were ready. And sometimes you just discover that through just teaching, regardless if you feel like you're ready or not. And through that sort of steady teaching or constant teaching, you really start to develop your inner strength, your inner voice, and share that with others.
So what about those that are on the fence about doing a yoga teacher training, but they don't feel like they're good enough, like they can't do a crow yet, or they can't do a headstand, or they can't do advanced poses, or maybe they have an injury that also keeps them from doing a lot of the more intense poses? Can they still be a yoga teacher?
Of course. That's the beauty of yoga. I mean, I know, and believe me, I love Instagram. I know that like you look on a lot of social media sites and you see some crazy whacked out stuff and you're like, oh God, I'll never be able to do that. But that's not really what it's about. You know, keep in mind, there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of poses. The beauty of yoga is that it really can be tailored to your specific body, your specific design, your specific needs. That's what I'm saying, like with prenatal, it's really tailored to that unique period in a woman's life. So that goes. And then like we have people who teach yoga to seniors or people who are teaching yoga to kids. Like it can really be tailored to any development stage, injury, where you are in your practice. It really can be tailored to that. So I really don't feel like you should let that prevent you from being a yoga teacher, because again, if you feel passionate about it, if you want to learn about it, there's something to be said for that. And I feel like you should share that passion wherever you are.
And don't you agree that what I've seen is there's a lot of people that are new to yoga that do not want to go take yoga classes from somebody who's doing handstands all over Instagram, like maybe myself, you know, but they want to go take it from somebody who they think is a more real, like who looks like them, who they feel a lot more comfortable with. And so that's what I really liked about how you were saying, you know, once you learn all this stuff, then it's your turn and your dharma to go out there and teach it, because nobody can teach it like you can teach it. You know, I could teach people until I'm blue in the face and they might never really hear my words like they're going to hear it from somebody else. And so I think that that's just what's so amazing. And what do you think about the fact that there are, you know, there's a lot of people becoming yoga teachers nowadays? What do you think about that if somebody's like, well, I don't want to take a training because there's a lot of competition?
I don't really think you should let that deter you. And again, like first and foremost, I think when anyone is taking the training, you want to use that knowledge to deepen your own practice and to deepen your own understanding. So I don't really think the fact that there are so many yoga teachers out there, and we often hear it's an oversaturated market, deter you. And I think we had this conversation when we were talking about something else on the phone, that like I come from the mind frame that there's enough for everybody, that everyone can have their piece of the pie. I try not to get into that sort of almost sort of not stingy, but just like coming from a fear-based, fear-based place. I try to say, look, like there's a reason why I'm into this. There's a reason why I'm doing this, and I want to learn more about this, why I want to share it. And you just have to follow that intuition. You have to follow that voice, that inner guide. It's there for a reason. So I don't really think just because there are a lot of us out there floating around out there. I don't really think you should let that deter you, because you're unique, you're special, and you will find, as you said, the people that you will resonate with, that will come and want to learn from you.
Exactly. You know, it's like they're coming to you because it's you, you know, like the students might be like, you know, I really want to do yoga, but they're not going to go usually to a yoga class until they find somebody that they really resonate with, you know, and they're like, oh, I'm going to her. And so, yeah, I think that that's really good advice for sure. And like I said, we all have something totally different to offer people, and nobody has our unique experience and our unique perspective. So we really all have something to share. And that's something that's really made me make sense of a lot of my past, is that, you know, for a while, I think whenever I was younger, you like are kind of trying to hide from it and not look at it. But now it's like, since I've been doing live stream the last few years, and the more and more I talk about it, it's very therapeutic for me. But I really realize how much it really resonates with people. And if you can be more authentic and if you can be more open and vulnerable, it allows them to do the same. And then that's where real healing can come from both parties, I think.
Of course, I totally agree. I mean, I feel like you were given this life, this body, this, you know, unique set of experiences, your environment for a reason. And you take all that information with you so that you can make it so almost like an offering. Share it with others, make it an offering through the work that you've done with what's been given to you to help someone else maybe sift through what's going on with them.
For sure. And to find gratitude in all those experiences, you know, that you've had that maybe weren't so pleasant, to find gratitude there, because now you're able to help some people that maybe aren't quite where you are. You know, maybe they're a little bit more in the thick of it, and now you can really help them to go through. That's one of the main reasons that I love yoga. And another thing is, I think it gives you more of a platform. It gives you a platform to talk about all of these kind of spiritual things that you've been learning, rather than just going out into your community and starting to talk, you know, about just spiritual things. That can be kind of harder to do that, but to do it through the platform of yoga, I think, is a really amazing gift and an honor that we have as yoga teachers.
Yes, definitely. It's like carrying the torch, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, did you have anything?
And I did have one also sort of, I guess, bonus reason as to how you know you're ready. I also feel like it's just like, and this kind of like piggybacks off of what you just said, it's just really nice to like surround yourself with like-minded people, because we are, you know, human beings, and human beings are spiritual. And so however you define that, you know, and so I feel like it's nice to have a platform where you get to speak to that side of yourself. You get to discover that side of yourself. You get to share that side of yourself. So it goes along with what you just said, in terms of another reason I think it would be, you know, it's great to take yoga teacher training is because you're with other people who are in that same boat. You're with other like-minded people. And so they'll be open, you know.
Definitely.
So a lot of people don't have that environment.
Definitely. And then it really sets you on that path of learning. So the great thing is, once you're a yoga teacher, then you can go to all these workshops and things, and then there are write-offs, and it's fun. You get to like go learn and develop your spirituality, which is amazing. So you're learning, but you're also using it so that you can then see how it works, how it sits with you, and then go out and teach that to your students.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. So true.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Christina is going to be one of the teachers for our yoga teacher training that is starting in March. So she's going to be helping with prenatal, but also if you're interested in social media, she's going to be helping out with Instagram. And I'm just really excited to have her on board. So thank you so much. And just thanks for sharing all your knowledge and wisdom with us today.
Oh, of course. Well, thank you, and so much for having me. And I'm so excited, and I look forward to us working a bit more closely together and getting to know each other a bit better.
Yay, me too. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. So that was Chris Blunt. She's out in Las Vegas. She's the creator of Vegas Gone Yoga, the yoga festival out there, and she'll be helping with the prenatal yoga portion of our yoga teacher training, as well as Instagram, if you're interested in really building that. So we focus in the teacher training on building your business as well, because we think that it's really important for you to have a solid foundation rather than just graduating and be like, okay, well, what am I going to do with this now? So we really want to give you that foundation so that you have an idea and a plan on how to move forward and find those students that you really, really want to connect with and teach. All right, so thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions about yoga or about the yoga teacher training or any trainings, and we'll be happy to answer. All right, have a great day. Namaste. Bye.